What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live. Today, we're going to be talking about what's next in our mock off season. We're going to be formulating a plan for the 2K sim part of it, and I'm going to listen to what you guys maybe want to include with that, because I kind of have a general idea, but I don't really have a well-formulated plan. So I figured we'd go live and talk about it, and maybe take some of your ideas and other than that, we can just chill, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And this is another one of those quarantine streams where we're just kind of going off the top of our heads and have nothing planned. First off, I just want to say, man, I miss being able to jump into a stream, like do an intro, and then just jump into picks against the spread. It was such a perfect warm up to the streams, And
Yeah.
now it's just like, okay, intro's done, let's go. Start. I don't know. I just missed that, and we were all close too. So hopefully we'll get that back. Back this summer. So anyway, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah. I've been beefing. Well, I haven't been beefing, but Rip City Project's been beefing with me today. That was entertaining. We're not gonna jump into that, but triggered the guy running that again.
Provided some entertainment for me this morning.
I'm happy to entertain you, man. I'm happy. Hopefully I made some of your guys' mornings, because that guy was trying to expose me for exposing him, and it backfired on him. Oh, that was funny. Anyway, so let's just hop straight into this. So let me just give you guys my rough outline. And I want to hear Eric's feedback on it and your guys' feedback on it. My rough outline for doing this mock off season 2K sim is I want to simulate 15 days in the game every 2 to 3 days. All right, so that's just the basis for the simulation. Do you think that's a good good pace, Eric? Or
Yeah, so basically 5 days a game, or 5 days per day of our simulation.
Yeah, it'd basically be a month every 5 days. So I feel like that would be enough to it'd be fast enough to keep people engaged, but wouldn't be too fast, because. Oh, go ahead.
The only thing I'd say to that is it's going to kind of depend on how fast certain people respond.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need to make some changes to lineups and stuff every few days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'll just. I guess we don't necessarily have to have it be a set time, but be dude, please respond within a day or something if you get asked a question, because we need to try to move it along.
Honestly, if people don't respond, I could just automatically set it to if somebody gets injured and the rotation has to be edited, and they don't respond, then I'll just have the computer set the lineup until they do respond, as we go throughout the season. So, basically the way I wanted to do it is, so every 2 or 3 days I'd simulate 15 days. I'd take a screenshot of the standings, post it in the Discord. I'd post in a specific Discord thread, and I just update a couple different posts. I post the standings, then I'd go through in a video, a 5-minute video, just scrolling through player stats for each team. Switching teams, scrolling through their player stats, and that's it. So you can see how your players are performing. I don't know how long that'll take, but I figured that might be a good way to be able to gauge how your players are playing, because I have found a roster that has really realistic simulation stats. So with that, you can tell if guys are doing better than last year, and they might be better in the game. Because I don't know, showing the overall rating, I don't know if I want to do that, but I'll be able to see my own teams. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I show overall rating? Should I keep it hidden and show you guys stats, and you guys have to make decisions based off your players' stats? How should I do that?
Are you changing any of the overall ratings like you did with your sim, or are you just going to leave it all?
Yeah, my plan was every 2 to 3 days, so every 15 days in the game, I'd do like small changes so players could possibly develop throughout the season. And like do like small little like rules, so they might change 1 to 2 overall like every 15 days.
Yeah. Like before the season started is what I meant.
I would do it before the season. What I was planning to do is do like a like 2 segments that wouldn't necessarily be in the game, like the training camp segment and the preseason segment. So I do like going into training camp, I'd randomize it a little bit. Then going into preseason, I'd randomize it a little bit, and then going into the regular season, how would I? Let me try and explain this. So what I figured is I'd randomize it a little bit before training camp, okay? So if a player got better before training camp, then after training camp, I would have like a sheet on each team's team sheet, and I would give them feedback on players. Like, this guy's surprising us a little bit in training camp. This is if I didn't do overall ratings. If I did overall ratings, I'd just update the overall ratings. But if I didn't do overall ratings, and somebody was like, you know, got his rating bumped up a bit in training camp, you know, he came back better than was expected, I'd put in a little prompt next to that player on the team sheet saying, this guy is surprising us during this training camp. Might want to look into giving him some minutes or whatever. And then the same thing for preseason. Like, this guy's actually playing really well during the preseason. So when the regular season rolls around, do you play the guy you thought you were going to play, or do you play the guy who's a good surprise during the preseason, if that makes sense? You know? I figure that might be kind of realistic, but I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
And that's if I like didn't show overall. If I did show overall, I'll just keep the overall on the team sheets, and I just update it. But if not, because it's more realistic to not have a number. That's the thing. That's what I was thinking about with that, is like, you're just going to play like whoever is the higher overall. You know, that's what people do. So that's why I wanted to do it like not completely based.
Some people
that.
might not. The good teams, yeah. Teams like ours, though, we might not want to play the better players.
I might like tier off certain levels of players, and instead of doing like an overall rating, doing like a tiered rating system. Where like, okay, you have your superstar level players, just based off the level of player they are. You have your superstar level guys, you have your all-star level guys, you have your starting level guys, you have your like bench rotation guys, and you have your guy like fringe rotation guys and guys aren't in the rotation. And I could put that in the team sheet or something like that and just tier things off so it's not a number. I
do think it's kind of, I don't know what the right word is. It's not unfair. Like, I know you wouldn't do stuff shady, but like you said, you can see your team rankings, so no one else can.
Yeah,
since you're a part of the game, I think maybe we should just open it up to everyone. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to. Yeah, I mean that is something that I didn't like about it.
Trevin says though, he feels like not knowing the ratings would separate it from being just a 2K sim. Yeah. I think he means that in a good way.
Yeah, I think he does. And that's what I felt. Like, instead of having it just like, oh, you're making decisions based off what their overall is, it's like you're making decisions based on like, okay, what feedback are you getting from the coaching staff, and how does this player's stats look throughout the season? Like, is this dude efficient? You know, since I have found a good roster for like simulation stats where like the efficiency in the simulation is realistic. So I figured that would be a good thing because it wouldn't be like just a 2K sim. It'd be more realistic. And the thing is, like, I wouldn't do, you know, like, it's just my word, but I wouldn't give myself any unfair advantage with that. You know what I mean? Like I would probably go through and update the ratings, then update my sheet off that, and then like make my decisions the next day when I probably don't remember the ratings and I just have the same information. You know, I might remember the ratings, but like I don't know. Like, there's no like easy way to do it, but I'm gonna like try as hard as I can to not give myself any more unfair advantage. And honestly, I'm not trying to win either at the same time. So
Doge says, but I knew everyone's plans in free agency. How is that different? Well, I wasn't like going after any of the players. I just automatically forwarded to Tori if it was someone that I was after too. So like I didn't really look, but yeah, I understand your point.
Yeah. Clay says it'll be tough to manage my team because I want Thibault and Jay Rich in there when we need defensive stop, and maybe Harris and Olynyk when we need shooters on the court. The thing is, like, simulations are like situational basketball doesn't really come into play in terms of just simulating games in the simulator. It might, if we were like jump into a game and watch a game or whatever and have it simulate while we're like in the game. That's like different than like just simulating it from the menu with the simulator. So,
yeah.
It would be fun.
Go ahead.
Okay. It would be fun if like the finals, if we got to a game 7 of the finals to like do a live stream of it and let like the people running their team make the coaching decisions for their team throughout the game or something. We could mess around with that when we get to that. That would be kind of fun.
It'd be great to be as detailed as Clay suggests, but like it's pretty much impossible to do it. Doing just a regular sim is hard enough to make it realistic.
Yeah. But so go ahead.
And Doge, real quick, like you signed everyone to 1-year deals and stuff. Like how would people not be able to figure out your plan? I didn't learn anything that people wouldn't have found out when you said you didn't want to trade for players in a second year or anything like that.
Yeah. So another part of this is like injuries. I wanted to have just a 1 to 5 rating system that like we'd have to go through and rate players just based off their durability. 5 being the most or least durable, 1 being the most or least durable, just like on a scale. I forget which one.
Don't they have like an injury rating?
Yeah, but the reason why I wanted to do it myself is because guys will get injured in the middle of the season, and then I have to in the middle of the 15-day stretch, guys will get injured, and then if it happened right at the start, then for 2 weeks the rotation would have to be random because I'm simulating 15 days at a time. And it'd be too much to when every player got injured and got knocked out of the rotation to have to go to each person and ask them, okay, what do you want your lineup is in the middle of that 15 days, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking is in between each 15 days, I'd roll for injuries, if that makes sense.
Unless you had like an unlisted stream or something for that, and then if the person's there, they can just respond right away. If not, then do like a second.
I just came up with a good idea. If somebody gets injured during that 15-day stretch, I can write down the injury and have it happen at the end of the 15-day stretch. Like, if it happens close, then I'll, one or 2 games randomly simulated with a random rotation, it's fine. But if it happens at the start of the 15-day stretch, I could possibly, have it happen at the end. I don't know. Because I can take away injuries from players and give them to players, in my league.
Yeah, I just like the randomness of 2K. Having players injured, it kind of make it interesting to see, because in real life you can't. It's random, It's like you don't know when Dame's gonna get hurt or whatever.
Yeah, they do have durability ratings and all that. So, Russell Westbrook says, IDK man, I prefer you roll for it randomly. I hate the way 2K sims injuries. Do you think there's too many injuries? Do you think there's not enough? Because it would honestly be easier to let 2K do it. I'm just trying to
you can change the sliders a little bit, right? Like just lower it a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Should the Blazers trade for Aldridge this offseason? Ben, get out of here, Ben. I recorded a 28-minute video on Aldridge last night, and then I was going to edit it before I went to bed, and then I realized it was with a bad mic, so YouTube problems, gotta love them. It's very frustrating.
There's a lot of. I bet if you compared injuries like with 2K to real life, it's about the same. There's a lot of injuries in real life too. It's not
I didn't think it was way too many. I didn't think it was way too many. I mean, you look at players who didn't even play last year: Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Yusuf Nurkic. Like, they didn't even play once because they got hurt in prior seasons. Oladipo was out for a good portion of the year. Zach Collins was out for a good portion of the year. Rodney Hood's out for a good portion of the year. Like, why not people submit contingency plans? I think most changes that mean to be updated are pretty obvious. Well, honestly, like 2K, the thing is, if Embiid got hurt and had Baines behind him, if Embiid got hurt, the 2K like computer system would bump up Baines' minutes. It would start Baines at center.
I think that's what he's saying. Like, most of the decisions would be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So you can just maybe let them know at the end of the 15 days.
Yeah.
Or you could just say, like...
Honestly, that would be the easiest, to just roll with the computer. Roll with the computer doing it. So I'll probably, honestly, the more that I think about it, just let the computer handle it. If a player gets hurt during that 15 days, and after that 15 days, I'll let you know. And I'll... if you want to make changes to your rotation, then you should let me know. But I'll have like the format for how you should do your rotations, by the way. Let me just type this out. So like if I'm doing the Blazers rotation right now, I can't. If I hit enter, it'll just send the message. I'll send you guys an example. Basically, you just divide up like your minutes by position and player. You guys have probably seen me do it before. In that scenario, if you have Tobias Harris listed as a power forward, but you give him the majority of his minutes at small forward, I might bump down his rating a little bit because he's a little better at power forward. And 2K might bump him up a little bit if he goes to small forward. So I'd switch his position over to small forward in the 2K sim. I'm just basically going to give players positions in the 2K sim based on where you plan on playing them the most. So, like you basically have a say in what position they play based on your lineup that you submit. So,
Doge is asking about Bojan Bogdanovic. I don't know if you saw that news today, but he's having wrist surgery and he's out for the season. But we're done with this season anyway. So let me see.
Yeah.
Does anyone see like a timeline for how long he'd be back?
And honestly, like the timelines with this and real life have diverged at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, because
like in the middle of the season, if somebody gets hurt, from the previous year and is out for a year, we're not going to have them get hurt in the middle of the sim,
Right. Yeah. No, they're talking about. I'm pretty sure they're saying that he's having surgery now and won't be able to come back if they resume play for this season.
That sucks.
I don't know if it'll affect him for next season.
He is crucial to their team, man. He is crucial to their team. Like, he's one of the most underrated players in the league. So that's a huge blow for them if they do restart the season. It's kind of weird for a player to have season-ending surgery after being out for 2 months. Like, why didn't you have it 2 months ago? But Klay's, he'd just switch over his position to power forward. And what that'll help with is if there is an injury, the computer will play him more at power forward. It'll take that into account that you have him playing more minutes at power forward since he'll be listed as a power forward. You know what I mean? So it'll create a little bit more consistency if we do have to have the computer set a lineup because somebody gets injured.
Yeah, Tommy says he expects to return to the start of 2021 season, so that wouldn't affect anything. I do think we should have Jeremy Lamb's probably not going to play this season. So probably just have him out for the year.
Yep.
Hood might be kind of like limited at first
but these
or
are
something.
Yeah, but we said, those are injuries that happened before we even started this.
Yeah.
And we told you guys, like, I don't want anybody getting mad about that, because we told you guys, like, injuries that happened before we'll be taking into account. So obviously, like, if an injury happened, if we're in like the 2020-2021 season and the NBA has resumed this summer and an injury happens, obviously that's not going to affect our sim. But the stuff that happened before carries over. And we did let you guys know. So if you didn't catch that, that's not our fault. Hopefully nobody was going to complain about that, but just knowing how these things go, somebody was going to get mad about, why don't I have Jeremy Lamb this season? So the thing is, honestly, like, with the way this 2K sim is, people don't even, it's not reliant on all 30 people participating in order for it to happen, because if people don't participate, I'll just set the computer. I'll try hard to get everybody to participate, and I hope that everybody does and people kind of reconvene for it. But if like somebody doesn't answer for 2 weeks, I'll just, computer sets their lineup if something happens, and I'll just go through. Like, this isn't going to end up getting caught up on any one person, so it should be pretty smooth. What else? I want to give you guys, like, the option to develop certain skills in players at the same time. I don't know if that's too much, but, like, you look at, like, Bam Adebayo and the way his passing has progressed. I want to give you guys, like, the option to try and develop certain skills. And it doesn't mean that it'll, like, for sure develop or anything like that. It'll mean that, like, say you want to develop Montrezl Harrell's 3-point shooting, and you put that down. If Montrezl, because I'm doing random ratings, as we go along, I'm kind of like randomizing ratings in a realistic way. If Montrezl Harrell, like, gets better, then he'll have an even bigger bump in, like, his 3-point shooting than other skills, if that makes sense. So if you designate certain skills in certain players to work on, and then they end up developing well with the random number generator, then those skills will progress more than they normally would, if that makes sense. So you could possibly, like, turn certain players, and you can develop certain players in a specific way that you want. I was thinking about maybe giving, like, three different players a skill for 3 different players. So you can only do that with, like, 3 different skills from your team, if that makes sense. So you couldn't do, like, a skill, you want to develop a certain skill in this guy, and 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 this guy. No, you could only do it for 3 players, just to make it easier on me. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
That'd be kind of fun. And I'd adjust the tendencies a little bit with that rating. So if Montrezl Harrell gets better from threes, I'll raise his 3-point tendency accordingly, for something realistic. And I'll show the stats, and hopefully you can see, like, the 3-point attempts per game, and you guys could possibly give, like, some feedback, like, I want this guy shooting more threes or something. You guys would just have to let me know. And yeah, so I thought that would be cool, because that's the thing. I wanted Montrezl Harrell because I wanted to develop him as like a shooter, and see how that went. Should I do it like, could you develop 2 skills in one player, or should I just keep it like you can only develop 1 skill in one player for up to 3 players?
I would just keep the 1 skill to 3, but you can, like, change it throughout the season if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think at some point, I mean, it's tough, because just because you want Montrezl Harrell to be a good 3-point shooter doesn't necessarily mean in real life he would, even if you put in all the time. So no. Yeah, I would kind of limit it.
Well, that's where the RNG comes in. If the RNG says, like, he doesn't get better throughout the season, then his 3-point rating wouldn't get better. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he'd have to, like, develop, like, get roles and, like, develop as a player overall. It would just, like, it would just make the growth higher in a certain skill set than it normally would be if the player got better. If the player isn't getting better, then it doesn't affect anything. If the player gets worse, like he'll not get worse in that skill, he'll just like normally get worse, if that makes sense. So it's just if players get better.
Does your realistic roster thing have badges off?
It has a lot of badges off. It has some badges still on, but a lot of the shooting badges and stuff like that it has off because that's what made it possible to have realistic efficiency numbers. I am slightly tweaking it, so I will need to test that and mess with that a little bit. So that might take a little bit of time because I have been kind of tweaking a few things. Like Nurkic was still shooting 1-3 a game. I didn't see any other issues. I think he just forgot to touch Nurkic because he was injured on the roster. I don't know. So like there's little things that I need to brush up with that roster, but it is a really good roster because I have tested the efficiency with it. And you have like Luka Doncic shooting 45% from the field and 32% from three. Like the efficiency is actually like as good as I think you can possibly get compared to real life. So yeah, I had to tweak like some. The only efficiency problem was like bigs. A lot of bigs were too inefficient inside the arc, so I had to mess with that, and I got to test that and do all that. But so that should be good. The one other thing that I'm gonna have to do with this is I'm trying to come up with a upside, like an upside rating for like the development of player ratings throughout the season. Like I need to make it dependent on like, okay, how much upside do they have that they can tap into, and how young are they, that type of stuff. So I will, like, players will have, like, you won't be able to see them, but they will have specific ratings that kind of determines if they develop, because like Anthony Simons the next 3 years is a lot more likely he develops more in the next 3 years than a guy like Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum who's in their prime and kind of like close to their ceiling, where Anthony Simons has a lot of untapped potential. So I need to figure out some sort of way, and I'll have some sort of formula based on that, so I can just put in the random numbers and the formula will generate like how much the rating changes, if that makes sense. So that will take a little bit of time. I have been messing with that for the past couple of weeks. But I wanted to make sure like you guys were cool with that and thought that was a good idea. And if you had any insight on that, maybe I could add something.
No, I think especially this first season, if we go further, it's just gonna take some tweaking along the way.
Yeah, and I mean, based on the formula, like I don't know. I just didn't want to have any like input into it, but if like the formula is like making players improve a little bit too much, I can account for that with like my own input. You know, I'll just make it go one under or something, or I'll make, you know, if young players aren't developing enough when they get good roles, then I'll maybe, you know, I can tweak it a little bit myself. I just wanted it to be mostly like a computer, so I wasn't having any input, so there was like no bias, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what. So Dizzy D mentions like a grading system, like A, B, C, D, F potential or something.
I would do numbers, since you could like incorporate those numbers in a formula, and they could affect like the formula. They could affect the output. So I was gonna do like 1 to 5 or 1 through 10. You should have bias, to be honest. Javo out there lagging in Nicaragua or wherever.
For those that keep asking about extensions, so those are due by October 31st, so like right around the beginning of the season. So we'll get into that once we get into preseason and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So just wanted to make sure we were good with a setup for this before I like really started going in on it.
Can you do Summer League? Or is that too much work?
I mean, I'm not going to mess with the rosters for Summer League. There is a Summer League that you can simulate, but I'll simulate this. I don't know. Because, like, they'll put, like, random players on the Summer League team. I don't even know.
Well, you got to fill out the rosters.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I'll like see what like the summer league rosters are like, because 2K will like automatically set up a summer league roster for each team. I'll see what they're looking like, and see like if because I've never even really messed with it. I'll see if like I can even tweak them or whatever. But like 2K is kind of weird with the summer league roster. Like you'll have like Zach Collins playing on it or something, which like wouldn't happen in real life.
Well, but that's what like so many people like Ben C. Darling, I'm looking at you, wanted his like whole team to play in summer league.
Yeah, which is not a thing. Yeah, that's not a thing. So I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I'm not gonna make any promises. I know I'm probably gonna get like 5 people asking me that are in here right now that hear me say, "Oh, I'm not going to worry about it until we get there." So don't ask me questions. I know I'm still gonna get questions, but I don't know exactly how that's set up in 2K, so I can't give you an answer right now. Basically, that is my answer to every summer league question you have until then.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to hear. I know I'm gonna get more questions about that. I know Ben's gonna be asking me 3 days from now. Hey man, so what's your setup for summer league?
Can you bust out the RNG? I have a need for it.
Oh, okay, yeah. We got a signing?
One of the people isn't here, but so a lot of people have been offering Jonte Porter a
of course
2-way contract. But he's been telling people that he doesn't want to play for a 2-way. And I want to say in real life he refused to play on a 2-way last year and waited until Memphis signed him later in the season. But yeah, I was surprised that it was kind of like a meme at the beginning of this where people were saying like whoever gets Jonte Porter will be the champion. So I was surprised no one actually signed him to their roster. Is that what it is? It's a Kenny thing, the Jonte Porter stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, so it's close enough to the season, so it's down to 3 teams that have odds. So what I was going to suggest is doing 25% odds for each one and having 25% be he refuses to sign a 2-way. Still.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good.
And so the teams are the Hawks, the Nets, and the Mavericks.
Okay.
For a 2-way. And then, so 25 for each of them, and then
1 to 25
the final 25.
Yeah, 1 to 25 is the Hawks, 26 to 50 is the Nets, 51 to 75 is the Mavericks, and 76 to 100 is he's not signing a damn 2-way.
Yep.
So, all right, here we go. Here's your guys' answer. He ain't signing a damn 2-way.
All right.
Nope. He said, hell no. Look at that 89.
Everyone lost their Clays.
The RNG hates Clays, man. You already knew. At least he didn't sign with someone else, though. Surprised the Suns didn't try to give him to his brother and pair him up with his brother. Actually, I'm not surprised. Where's the Suns even been?
They still could, yeah.
Which they need to renounce my guy. I mean, it's not my guy, but the guy who absolutely hates you, Eric. Oh, there's a player that I was negotiating with, and the way Eric negotiated with him was so like I'm not even gonna leak it, but let's just say he doesn't like Eric. And he's probably gonna lose money from it, but he's fine with that because
I only offered him a contract because I was trying to move free agency along. I didn't even really want him, and then I got stuck like having to defend myself.
And I know I turned into this whole thing. Oh man, he's probably honestly, like he might end up. I don't know. Maybe he'll end up going overseas. I don't even know because that happened with Mirotic, and this guy's a foreign player. But, dude, has Phoenix been participating? Because
he answers when I message him. But yeah, it's unless you message him, he doesn't really respond very fast.
Okay, yeah, because that email that I was handling for that player, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I probably just need to message him because he wasn't responded.
Well, he's got 2 restricted free agents. I'm trying to get him to sign the other one, but he's not responding.
Yeah, it's rough.
No, it's someone else took over for him, Destrom. But
doesn't Alvaro want a team?
I don't know. Did he say he wanted?
I thought he did. I thought he said he wanted one.
Well, there's another team that he would take over before the Suns. Sixers.
Oh yeah, freaking People's Mix, man.
Anyways,
where's he? So is he like gone for good?
I don't know. He just commented bet in the chat
right now.
A few minutes ago, 5:03, when you posted the link to this stream.
Oh, you said that in the Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with him.
So Clay's, I mentioned this when I talked about the combining the draft picks. We're still about 3 or 4 weeks away from being able to combine trades. So it's 60 days in real life. We're in like late July. So most of those trades took place like right before the draft. So it would be like late August in our timeline. So right before we start like training camps and stuff.
This man, I don't even know if it showed up on the screen. Westbrook, get out of here with that. He messaged me on Discord 3 minutes ago. He said, "Yo, Tori, I had a question. How is Summer League gonna work?" Which, now that I said that he did that, I'm probably gonna get 5 more of you guys doing that. I will fine you if you do that.
And then, yeah, so I'll let you guys know when contracts are combinable, but still not for a while yet. And then, one other thing I was going to say to respond to someone, but I can't find it now. So never mind. Do the 5.
Do the 5, huh?
That's what it says. Your emoji says.
Oh, I thought it was just like a
I know, stop sign.
Can we get a commentary on Summer League Finals and?
I gotta call Baja Blast.
the Summer League questions, man. Destra, my answer to anything Summer League is I don't know yet. So yeah, I don't know yet. Probably wouldn't do a commentary for Summer League Finals though. It's the Summer League. Stop for 5 seconds. Anyway, Baja, what do you do?
I just got a message towards the beginning of the stream saying, "Yo, can I trade Jimmy?"
Why is he trying to trade Jimmy? Bro, why is he trying to trade Bam and Jimmy?
I said it would have to be really clear as to why you were doing it. He said I'd only either do it to go full tank or to get a price to try and contend.
Why would the Heat go full rebuild?
That's what I said. I was like, we probably wouldn't approve a tank trade for you because you had a team that wasn't a tanking team. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know who he'd get for Jimmy Butler that would help him contend more than Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler's like a perfect fit for what they have around him. Like Jimmy Butler fits in with all their shooting and all their players perfectly. I think they have like a lot of cohesive pieces. I mean, maybe in the sim, maybe they don't anymore. I mean, they got Terry Rozier now, so obviously they're gonna suck because Terry Rozier sucks. But I hate Terry Rozier. No, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, and that's something that would have happened at the start of this thing that we would have let happen. But then when Clay's tried to trade KD for PG, that's when we had to put our foot down.
Yeah, it's like
I want to see how long that silence would last.
His moves don't make sense if you.
Good old Ivan Rabb, though.
You can't just tank now.
Yeah, no. He has a good roster, so just play it out. If
and it wasn't like an old roster either. That's the thing. They were young and had a huge window for contention. So.
If they're like really struggling next season, they're like 10 games below 500. Sure, that could maybe be a thing at the deadline, you know? But, like, not after the season they've just had. They're not going to, like, tank this offseason, you know what I mean? Like, depending on your situation, stuff will open up at the deadline. Another part of this sim is if you gave a player a promise, like, of a certain amount of minutes, and they're not getting them, or they're not getting the role they feel like they deserve, they might demand a trade. So, like, if a player demands a trade, I think maybe, I don't know, like, we'd announce it publicly, like, because those things become public. So I don't know if we'd have a thread for that or something. Maybe like an official rumors thread or whatever. And it would be something like, so-and-so player has demanded a trade from whatever team or something. Just to create some storylines, but like if you signed a guy saying we're going to give you 30 minutes a game and then you play him 10 minutes a game, that's unrealistic that they want out at the trade deadline because you lied to him to get him to sign a contract. So that could be intriguing. That could be intriguing. Realistic. That's something you don't really see in 2K. Devontae Graham has demanded to trade. Yeah, Trevin, it's gonna be tough for you to find the minutes. I'm interested to see what you do.
Trevin didn't really promise anyone though.
True, but
that's
if you get Devontae Graham 8 minutes a game, he's gonna want out because he's better than that. Like,
Trevin was worried about injuries earlier, but that's when you have a 10 or 11 man rotation. Sometimes injuries aren't the worst thing. And that doesn't even include guys like Little, probably, where you could slide in if you had an injury.
Yeah. I mean, because Little can play the 3 or the 4, so you're kind of set. You have... Oh, no, he traded Simons. Yeah, might need to consolidate that at the deadline. I assume Doge is lagging. That's why that comment posted 3 times. I started Summer League. What do you mean you're bad? You can do whatever you want on your own 2K. I don't care. I like your position versatility. You just have too much of a logjam, I think, Trevin.
Dame Dollar already answered that question. It's not my fault you left. But no, it's right before it's during training camp and preseason.
Yep, why you hating? Hey, I put those dots a little bit too. I'm not like Dizzy D level with those dots, but I still use those dots.
Dizzy D was asking about if we have any other free agent signings, or who are you talking about? Are you trying to get someone? Because I don't have any other guys.
Yeah, I mean, free agency is still going on for that. So,
get your two-way guys signed if you don't already, too.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still a couple restricted free agents. There's still decent free agents out there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hide the Summer League user. Unless it's somebody changed their name. If it is, then you better change it back, because I'm gonna hide you. I started the idea of Summer League when I DM'd you on Discord. I mean, you asked and brought it up, and I said maybe.
We've been talking about Summer League since the draft. When I mentioned that I would have one of the better Summer League teams of all time because it would be my normal team. Minus all the bets.
Yeah. So let me. There's something I was going to respond to. Jordan said, I know I missed the first bit and it may have been asked, but when are you looking to get the sim up and running? Honestly, a good date for that starting might be June 1st. It's a Monday. It's the first day of June. It gives me 2 full weeks to make sure like the roster is set up how it needs to be and determine like the upside ratings and set up the stuff for that because it's going to take some time to set up. So June 1st, I think, might be a good day. So then if we're doing a month every 5 days, the 6th of June would be, October would only be like 2 days. So like November would start the 3rd. December would start the 8th. January would start the 13th. The 18th would be February. The All-Star break would play out. Know exactly how that schedule is in. But then March, April. So the playoffs would start like the start of July-ish, which could be coinciding with the return of the NBA season. But, it's fine.
Jordan, we'll contact each person about like what you need to answer in terms of rotation.
We'll have it set up.
Don't worry about right now. We'll contact you and let you know exactly what you need to give us.
Yep.
Dame Dollar, you can have 2 two-way contracts.
Yes, 2 two-way contracts. Yeah, so I think like running it through June to start July. I didn't want it to interfere with the NBA season, but it will. But that's fine. You guys will still be into this, like. And who knows if the NBA is even successful starting back up. I think they will be, but God, it's weird. It's weird not having. It's gonna be so weird not having fans in stands. So.
Just so you know, Dame Dollar 2, you already have both of your two-way contracts filled.
Yep. Just check your team sheets. It's on your team sheets how many of them you have filled. I have both mine filled. I have 16 roster spots, so if anybody's interested in Nicholas Claxton or Marquise Chris, please let me know, and please trade for them. Not even really looking for anything back. They're 2 good young bigs. Like, they're not good, but like they're solid young bigs. Guys that could like be in a rotation, I think Chris is a little better. I think Chris can be a bench player for a decent team. I think Claxton's like a fringe rotation player. They're young. I'm just looking to get rid of them because I have a log jam in the front court. So
you still have the calendar up.
Oh, just making the calendar hang out with your face. All right.
No, Wendy and Gabriel is not on a two-way this year in real life.
No, we had Horde and Brown.
Jaylen Brown or Moses Brown.
Yeah, I wish we had Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Horde and Moses Brown.
Yeah.
Combined.
I wish we could combine those two into one Jaylen Brown, but
yeah.
Jeez. So I don't know. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Let me know.
No, Goga Batadze is not on a two-way contract.
Why are you guys asking all that? Batadze was a first-round pick, so no, he wasn't a two-way.
Ben's gone like too far with his trolling.
I know. You guys have gone too over.
It was like funny at first, but like he's not. He's like too. I don't know how to put this.
He's too steady with it, like with the same.
It's like it's not subtle enough, Like you're either really dumb or you're trolling. Like it's obvious that he's one of the two. So like,
boy, he's trolling, doesn't he? Damn.
I know. I'm saying those are the only two options. He's either dumb or he's trolling. So it's like obviously he's trolling. I think, right?
Yeah, no, because he ain't that dumb. So yeah, he is trolling. No, I get what you mean.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's what makes like Zacho so good at being sarcastic. Is like he'll say something on Twitter and everyone thinks he's like saying something that's
crazy, bro. It drives me crazy because like I'll post something and I'll have like 4 people that support me but will be disagreeing with me in a serious seeming way just to be sarcastic. Like, come on, man. I'm just saying they gotta switch up their shtick every once in a while, you know. Try and find some versatility, you know, because they're just not versatile enough. They're one-trick ponies, man. They're literally Myers Leonard with the 3-point shot, basically. Like, don't be a Myers. Be a Jokic. Be versatile. Like, they're literally all saying, like, LOL, because it's all them. Trevin, Zacho, Ben, Destrom. Destrom isn't as bad. Destrom is a little bit. Destrom, like, keeps it fresh. He's serious enough. But, like, Zacho, Ben, Trevin almost gets to the point where I can't tell if they're ever being serious. You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm assuming they're sarcastic. So it's I can't even have a basketball discussion with these guys because they're always so sarcastic. The only like basketball conversation that I know I can have with Ben is based around Illinois basketball. That's it. Like, which I don't want to consistently talk about Illinois.
What do you think on who's better, Gonzaga or Illinois?
I think Gonzaga is definitely a lot better. I know I'm like better than that. Like, I shouldn't be saying Gonzaga and Illinois in the same sentence, but you know, I'm just not better than that. So Gonzaga is just better than Illinois, you know. Man, people are always going to tease you about Illinois because you bring them up so much. So like no offense, but nobody cares about Illinois as much as you do. Which, like, I'm sure you know what I mean? We'll still talk about it, but nobody cares about Illinois as much as you do. So when you bring them up that much, at some point we were just going to be like, yeah, I want to have some fun with this. So if I troll him. Like,
man, you missed it. Ben went off, and then he like
what did he delete?
He like deleted and edited like half his post. He pulled a
Rip City project and deleted his post. What did he do?
Dude, there was literally like 100 messages when I woke up from bed. Like it was like just
come on,
it didn't even fit on a page. It was like scrolling pages and pages of his going off about red shirts and how you don't know what that means, and
that part made me legitimately.
And he toned it way down. I think he realized that he was
going overboard.
It wasn't necessarily even overboard. It was just like, dude, no one's arguing that. Like, you're going crazy for nothing.
I didn't expect it to work that well. I thought he'd be like, oh, you know, shut the hell up or something. Not, you played in college, but you don't know what red shirts are. Like, all right, but.
And Dizzy D, what is your obsession with Master P all about? That's like the 10th time.
Dizzy D, Master P. He's a Master P fan, man.
Okay.
I don't know. He does. What is his name from? What is the original Dizzy D Michael Lavimodir? Because I remember the first time I said that on a mailbag, and I was just like, what in the world? I tried to like say it properly. Will we be able to submit a 3-point shooter and a dinner and do a... You want to submit a dinner to me? I'll take some dinner. I'll take some free dinner for sure. They don't do the 3-point contest in 2K, I don't think. If they do, then it'll just be whatever 2K decides.
I think they do. Yeah.
In my league, like on like the free play, you can do like a free play 3-point contest. I'm not sure if it's like in my league though. But if it is, then it'll be whatever 2K decides.
I'm pretty sure they do, and then they just say who the winner is. 3-point contest is definitely in my league, says Destrom.
Yep. I wish I could.
Yeah, that's like the game will determine who the all-stars are and all that stuff. So
maybe we'll have everybody vote for like first team all NBA and stuff. That'd be more work than necessary. I don't know. Maybe that could be something cool. I don't know. Vote for like MVP and all the end of season stuff, because you can actually change those in 2K. So.
That won't be biased.
Yeah, they're literally all gonna vote Dame. That's literally like when I brought that up and then I stopped, that's literally what I thought about. Like, oh, they're just gonna vote Dame for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, and
Westbrook could have the best season of all time, and they go 82-0, and he averaged like 60 points a game, and people wouldn't even vote him third team All NBA.
Yeah, for real. Oh, for real. Yeah, it would be too biased. That's the thing. If we were like fans of our teams, then it would be like if this was 30 different NBA fans, then it would work. But since we're all a fan of the same team except for People's Mix, doesn't really work like that. And People's Mix just wouldn't respond to me and would basically just say like, "Screw you, dude. I'm better. I'm too good for you now." That's basically how that would go. So he's too good for us. I need to give that man crap. He told me to do reactions on Patreon for a while, and then I did one, and then the season ended. I did put up an Andre Miller reaction though, so if you want that, do join the Patreon. I might make a channel, like just a separate channel, because it's really easy to do reaction videos. The reason why I didn't have that Andre Miller reaction out for a while is I didn't really want to pay for Vimeo. So what I did for that is I just made like a separate channel for like my reaction videos for Patreon, but I might just turn that into a reactions channel and do some reactions for Patreon donors and some reactions for just for anyone, just for you guys if you want. I don't know. I do like 2 a week, one for Patreon donors, one for just the community. Because honestly, I do have a lot of fun like making those reaction videos. Like the Andre Miller reaction video, I actually like really enjoyed making. I thought it was good. It's just 15 minutes, no edits really. Just literally only took me 15 minutes to do. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe if you want to do reactions too, Eric, they're really easy to do. I could help you with that. I don't know. Just spit.
Hopefully we have real games to react.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I was going to mention this last stream, but I haven't watched the last episode, but I've watched the first 9 of The Last Dance now.
Oh, so. Even I watched the last episode, and I didn't even watch the first 6.
Okay. Well, I had to watch all of them, so
yeah.
I've watched the first 9. I haven't watched the last one yet.
Last one's good. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. Don't spoil it, chat, or I'll ban him for you to oblivion.
You can't spoil it. I lived through it.
Yeah, but there's some stuff in there that like wasn't known before. And there's one big thing that wasn't known before.
If it's that he wanted to come back for a 7th one, I already know that.
Well, I mean, like, there's intriguing stuff surrounding that, but that's not what I'm specifically talking about. But there's intriguing stuff like hearing different people, like hearing whoever broke up the team, I forget what his name is, hearing him talk about it and then MJ reacting to it and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good. So
Ben, that was a weird thing to say. I'm a fan of Curry because he did that nice thing to that one kid.
Pause. Where's Captain?
Yikes.
Bro, where's Captain Cap and I honestly even miss People's Mix, bro. Because their reactions to that would have been funny, but they ditched us. Because you would have just seen WTF pause. Everybody said pause. I miss those days. I miss having the whole crew around. But you guys are the OGs because you guys are still here with us, so appreciate it. We still got 18 people watching, which is actually...
I think your mic just switched.
Yeah, it keeps tipping over, man. I mean, I'm about to sign off anyway. Maybe beef with Rip City Project some more. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
It's so lame to beef with someone who you have blocked.
Oh, I know. Blocked this dude a while ago, but somebody messaged me that he said this, and he's just screen grabbing my paid content. Like, bro, you probably have, what, 1,000 people, 1,500 people read that. You probably get $1-2 from it. You think I'm going to like completely eliminate your audience because I screen grabbed 25% of the article? Like, what a clown, man. That guy's literally a clown. Like, he hates me because so the guy that runs Rip City Project hates me.
Are you muted?
Am I? I don't think so. I got my mic plugged in.
Okay.
I made sure. The guy that runs Rip City Project hates me because he started beefing with people from the Rip City Project account. There's 2 people that run it. I don't know if there's still 2 people that run it, but one was named Stevie, one was named Austin Cohen. Stevie is the guy who hates me. Stevie's the guy who wrote that article that I called out. Stevie hates me. Like, hates me. The reason he hates me is because he was beefing with people on the Rip City Project account, like making it oddly personal to hear from that account. You know, if it was like somebody's personal Twitter account, it wouldn't be weird, but it was weird coming from the Rip City Project account, just the way he was beefing with people, and this was like months ago. So I brought it up to the other guy running the site. Like, this is kind of weird. Like, well, I basically just I questioned him about it. Like, why is he tweeting out like this from the Rip City Project account? And the reason I did that is because I actually like was fond of Rip City Project before that. The guy who used to run it, I actually did an interview with, and like there's an article based around True Blazer fan like almost 2 years ago. So I liked the platform before. So when it started tweeting out the way it was tweeting out, it just kind of surprised me. So I asked, wasn't even saying anything bad. I basically just like asked the other guy who runs the site what's up with it, and I asked Austin what's up with it, and the Stevie guy, the guy who was tweeting out all personally from that account, he turned it into, oh, this guy tried to fire me. This guy tried to remove me from Rip City Project. F that guy. Like, I've seen him comment that type of stuff. When I got into that drama with Neela Madison, he was commenting stuff like that. He's just turned, like, he's just been super sensitive about anything I say regarding them since then. I've had to correct him on multiple things because he's one of those media guys that doesn't put in the effort to know what they're talking about in terms of CBA stuff. So he continuously puts out misinformation such as, oh, if we let Whiteside walk, we'll have a little bit of cap space. So that's a good idea. Like, no, 1, it's better to have the mid-level exception than a little bit of cap space. And 2, we won't have cap space. Even if we let Hassan Whiteside walk, we'd have to make other moves. So I corrected him on that last night, and he kind of freaked out on the Rip City Project page today. So if any of you guys weren't in tune with that, he ended up basically going on a rant about how it was wrong that I was screen grabbing his article. I'm doing a horrible job explaining this. I don't know. Just go on Twitter if you guys want to see it. But he ended up, I don't know. I'm literally doing a horrible job explaining this. But just been this whole thing.
It's just frustrating that so many, once again, here's a Blazer Media person that can't even put out an article with correct information in it. How many times? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I questioned, well, I don't even remember what I say. Like, I wasn't even making it personal. I kind of was making it personal. I don't care.
It's impossible for it not to be at this point with you two.
But, like, I just don't like the media misinforming people. Because then people get confused, and then we have to correct people. Then we'll have people argue with us because, oh, Rip City Project said we'd have cap space, so we'd have cap space. You're wrong to us. And we have to deal with stuff like that. It just drives me crazy. It's like, why can't we just know what we're talking about here? If you're a media member covering the team, why can't you know what the hell you're talking about? Like, why is that? It's not hard to learn the CBA if you really try. Like, it's not hard if you really try. And this isn't even like CBA knowledge. This is like, okay, would we have cap space if we just let Whiteside walk? No, we wouldn't. Do some math. You can easily look up the Blazers payroll sheet. It takes you 10 seconds. Use Google. Search Blazers payroll. Click on the first link. You have the information there. Do some simple math. It's not hard to get your stuff correct, especially if you're going to spend all the time covering the team and putting out an article. Like, just get your facts straight instead of misinforming people. It doesn't make sense. So basically, I kind of called out Rip City Project on that, and the guy kind of made a fool of himself, so that was funny. But
trying to be Pinwheel Empire.
Dude, it's just like with Kerry Eggers. It's like, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't pretend like you know what you're talking about. Like, don't pretend, like, it's fine if you don't know what you're talking about, just don't pretend like you do. It just drives me crazy, man. God.
Well, I thought it was hilarious that you called his exact reaction, basically.
Because here's what
the article still isn't corrected, and yeah, he didn't say or respond to anyone mentioning that they still don't have cap space. Trevin, I think, has told him numerous times over the past couple months that we will not have cap space in that situation because you're not accounting for waiving Ariza in that scenario as well. And yeah, he just keeps putting it every time he writes an article about it.
Yeah. So basically, I called out their misinformation. I said, I've seen so much information from people in the past week who should be trusted to give accurate info because you should be able to trust these media guys, you know? But then I brought up Kerry Eggers. I said, Kerry Eggers has an excuse. He covers multiple sports. Plus, he handled it graciously, and I respect that because me and Eric both corrected him. He responded to Eric and handled it very graciously. And in terms of, like, I think he apologized for misinforming people. You know, that's about as good of a reaction as I can expect. I said, still, if the media is going to act like they know this stuff, they should put in the minimal effort it takes to actually learn this stuff so they aren't misinforming the fan base. Just leads to me correcting stuff in order to keep the fan base from being completely misinformed. And then I went on to say, but the guy who wrote this, the Rip City Project guy, I said, he'll probably say, F that guy, he's always on my ass, like he has in the past. Instead, maybe the Rip City Project guy should worry about knowing his stuff. As I've said, it takes minimal effort to learn this stuff, but most people covering the NBA can't be bothered with it. What's your finger? What are you doing?
I'm trying to point to Ben where there we go.
But then, so I basically called it out. Like, instead of taking feedback that his article is wrong, instead of, like, listening, he's just going to say, F that guy, blah, blah, blah. And what did Rip City Project tweeted out? They said, blocked this dude months ago because he's being such... I messed up my words. The Rip City Project account tweeted out, blocked this dude months ago because he was being such a pain. Haven't interacted with him in months, but had a message from somebody saying he's screen grabbing our articles and posting them on his timeline. Classy move. This tweet got no likes from them, had multiple people in his comment section defending me because his articles is free. It's free content. It's public domain. It's free content. I'm allowed to screen grab 25% of a free article that's online for anybody to access for free and post it. Like, that's not against any sort of law, any sort of rules. That's not like a classless move. Like, if I shared it and said something good about it, he wouldn't be complaining. You know what I mean? He's just complaining because I called him out for being wrong. So he's trying to find an angle to make me look bad. You know?
Well, the whole reason why he blocked you, too, was because he felt like you were pointing out everything that was wrong. It's like, well, dude, quit posting wrong information then. Like, that's not your fault he keeps posting articles that are wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't even making it personal. But see, this type of tweet is the exact thing I complained about in the first place. The exact thing I questioned the other guy who ran Rip City Project about in the first place. Why are you tweeting out from the official Rip City Project account, blocked this dude months ago because he's such a pain, haven't interacted with him in months, but had a message from the Rip City Project account. If that's from his personal account, okay, yeah, that's your personal account. So, that's whatever. Why would you tweet that out from the Rip City Project account? That's the type of tweet I was questioning in the first place, which made him hate me, and now he's still doing it. He's literally, like, all he's done is proved everything I've said right with one tweet. He ended up deleting it because it got no likes, got no good attention for him. But it was literally proof.
Oh, no, one person said he didn't like you either.
One person, I don't even, who knows who that guy was. But there's definitely people out there that don't
Trevin knows.
But I literally said, watch, he's going to say, screw this guy, he's an asshole. That's exactly what he said. Blocked this dude months ago because he's being such a pain. I also said he needs to worry more about the fact that he's getting stuff wrong in articles. Look, he ain't worried about that at all in this. He's just trying to call me out instead of actually considering that, maybe he's misinforming the fan base. I also, had those concerns with him, like, because I liked Rip City Project before this. I also in the first place, was questioning his use of the Rip City Project account in a personal manner. And here he is, using it in a personal manner to beef and try and call me out. So literally, with one tweet, he has proven everything I've said right about him. Everything I've said. So, and then he ended up deleting it. So I thought that was pretty funny, man.
I wonder why he deleted it.
Honestly,
someone said something to him.
I hope somebody above him says something to him, and he got in trouble. But yeah, no, it was. Look at the trade block on Discord. Oh no.
Testing Jimmy Butler from Baja.
Okay, test him all you want. You can't trade him, bro. You can't trade him. Literally, and it's not even like anything to do with him. We've stopped people from trading stars just because it'd be ridiculous. Kevin Durant would be a Los Angeles Clipper right now. Which, honestly, I get why Clay's made that, because we were giving him all this crap. Like, KD doesn't want to play there anymore. You traded Kyrie. So I get it, but still, like, it's getting a little too crazy. Granted, the Nets are a better team now than they were before, but... yeah. So, anyway, I might go and, read some Rip City Project articles and find something to call out. I can't
just
even say that
keep
with a
calling
serious
it
out. Read some Rip City Project articles. Yeah, right. But no, you guys know I'm not afraid of beef.
Like, I don't care about like the notoriety for my video, but I wish people like that would watch my video and then they know exactly what we have to offer and what this summer is going to look like. We don't know about the salary cap being affected, but
yeah, but
he's not mentioning that in his articles either. So like, it's not like he's basing his things off of the numbers might be different. He's going off of the 115 million as well. So there's no reason why he can't take some time and watch that video, and then he'd know exactly what he's talking about.
You just have a lot of, I don't know. You just have a lot of guys in media that wouldn't be willing to put in 25 minutes. The 25 minutes that it take to watch your video, they're just not willing to put in 25 minutes to know what they're talking about. So instead, they put out articles and misinform the fan base and continuously get stuff wrong. It's just lazy to me. Like, I struggle with my uploading consistently sometimes, but at least when I put stuff out there, I try to make it as good as possible, as quality as possible, and I make sure I'm not misinforming people, and I make sure I know what I'm talking about, right? Like, instead of just putting out crap and just, I need to get a video every day, so I'm just going to put out crap every day, and, I'm not going to pay attention to CBA or anything. I'm just going to say what I feel like in regards to that, and who knows if I'm wrong. Like, that's basically the attitude that they have that drives me crazy, because I hold myself to a higher standard and I'm a YouTuber. They're writing for, they're writing and covering the team and getting money for it and getting paid for it. Like,
well, my thing is too, like, I completely disagree with almost everything he said about Whiteside in that article.
Yeah.
Like, he said something about him being exactly what we needed and all that stuff. Like, we sucked this year. Like, I don't know if you can say anyone was exactly what we needed. But yeah, like, opinion-based stuff is fine. But like, the cap situation is like factual stuff. So like, if someone tries to correct you on that, I would be like, oh, I'm sorry, I misinterpreted that rule, or like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you
right.
Try,
like, whatever.
You try to know your stuff.
So like, I'd be like, okay, thank you for correcting me. Like, I stand corrected. Like, thank you. But no, he's like, how dare you question me? Blah blah blah.
The thing is, you make sure you know what you're talking about, so I've never seen you be wrong like that. Which maybe I'm forgetting a time or two, but I've never seen you be wrong like that, because you like, know your stuff and you make sure you do.
Sometimes forget that, like, the sign and trades don't hard cap you if you're trading out a player, and I think one time, like, I said it did, and someone corrected me, and I was like, yeah, you're correct. My bad. Like, I forgot about that. So yeah, it happens, but the CBA is really hard. You have to study it a lot, but like the stuff we're talking about with the CBA is like basic
Yes.
stuff. It's
Yes.
not even like the complicated part of it.
I'm not asking anybody to know like, oh, how much salary can you bring back if you're not in the tax and you're trading out this much and getting back this much? Does that work? You know, I mean, like, it's not even like, and that's not even that complicated, but it's not even to that level. It's talking about would we have cap space if we let Whiteside walk? It's just basic stuff. Like it takes 30 seconds to figure out if we would or not, and it just takes basic math. Like that's why it's so frustrating with the way that people are with this team. Is just like they don't put in that effort to really know that type of stuff, and then they misinform the fan base. It's just frustrating. You know, I just wish people gave more of an effort where we weren't the only ones out here where you could get trustworthy CBA and cap information from. You know what I mean? Because people love talking about possibilities this offseason, but they are, you know, that talk is usually fueled by media sources that don't know what they're talking about in regards to the cap and our options this summer. So
I know your answer to this probably, but Trevin asked, do you think you could go head-to-head with a real GM and CBA knowledge?
The thing is, there's a lot of CBA stuff that isn't like related to trades and signings. That is like related to just like the overall management of a team. Like it's in terms of like the contractual stuff, I still probably couldn't. There's still probably stuff that I don't know, like very detailed, like small stuff that I don't know. But I think if me and a real GM had a conversation about like CBA related stuff, or like just talk like trade ideas. What'd you say?
You could hold your own.
Yeah, like they'd be impressed by how much I know for a fan, like about trade rules, about a lot of different stuff in terms of how the CBA relates to building a roster, constructing a roster, that type of thing. I think I'd impress them, especially since the media doesn't get this, you know?
Yeah. The thing is, like, Olshey has a capologist guy, and that's his only job is to know the cap, and then he'll be like, so does this work, or, you know, and then he says yes or no, and then tells him why or whatever. Like, so I'm sure he doesn't
I think you could do
study
that
it fully, but I haven't fully read the 2017 one, but the previous one I fully read and studied, like the actual CBA, not just like there's the Larry, what is his name? Larry Kroon or Larry something. He has his
Don't say
CBA.
a word that could get you demonetized, because I think it's
yeah, without the R. But anyways, well, I mean it's his name, but
no, I know, but like YouTube might hear that word and be like,
so he has like a very detailed website. It's called CBAFAQ.com, which is just basically going through all the CBA rules and kind of interpreting them in a little bit easier to understand. But there's times where I'll read a rule, I'll go to the CBA, read the rule, and I still don't understand it. So like, I don't know if I could go head to head with like actual people who do this for a living, just based on reading it a few times. But yeah, I don't think I would be like out of place in that conversation.
Yeah. No, I think
I had actually, so this would have been the end of the 2012 season. So that was like the really bad season, right? Where we had the mutiny and McMillan got fired and Caleb Canales was our coach and all that stuff. So my mom won tickets to go to Arizona and watch the Blazers play the Suns there, and we stayed in the same hotel as them. It was a really awesome experience. But anyways, I got to have a conversation with Chad Buchanan, who was the interim GM that year. But this was like 8 years ago, right? Yeah. So like I wasn't quite as knowledgeable about the CBA. So like I felt like now it would be so much different of a conversation, because I could have been like, oh, what do you think of these prospects, or what do you think of this and all that stuff. But back then I wasn't really paying attention as close as I am now. So like that would have been really cool to pick his brain like an actual person who does it.
Yeah, I think if you put us in the front office where we got trained a little bit and like, you know, learned a little bit more, I think me and Eric could both kind of fit into a front office in regards to like you know, CBA stuff, if that makes sense, an assistant GM or whatever. I honestly think we could be, I don't know, there's probably a lot of stuff we don't know that would be responsibilities of that job, but I think I'd be good just to toss ideas at the wall, you know, put ideas on the board, and scouting wise, you know, dive into that. And
see, I would just love combining both like our knowledge and like our willingness to just grind and try to figure stuff out with inside knowledge of like who's actually available, what the direction is, what, like if you were like Olshay's assistant GM and he was like, this is my plan, these are the kind of guys I would love to be able to get, and then you could go to work on giving him ideas to try and get those players or whatever, like that would be aming, I think. But awesome.
I'd love to just own a team and be the GM. I'd be Jerry Jones, but good. Oh man,
that'd be funny.
I'd stream the trade deadline. I'd just mute it every time I got on the phone. Oh man, you'd be a great GM because you like Illinois and you've watched a ton of Boise State. Got you. Yeah. Alrighty. Probably ready to wrap up this stream. So the two videos I was planning to release today, I had the LaMarcus Aldridge thing recorded, but the mic messed up, so I wanted to edit that before I went to bed last night or this morning because I fall asleep in the morning. But I did not have the energy to re-record it because it was a 28-minute recording that went to waste, which sucks. But so I got to re-record that. I'll probably try and get it out some point tonight, maybe around midnight, and then the mailbag tomorrow. Kind of fell behind on videos a little bit, but should be able to have one out tonight. Maybe I'll do the mailbag first. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, yeah, I'll probably do the mailbag first just to switch it up instead of just re-recording directly after I recorded it. Because it gets tough when you record something, then it goes to waste, and then you have to immediately like re-record it. Just because you've already said everything. It's just like a little like, you get the feeling like, oh, gotta record this again, say all this stuff again. So I might do the mailbag tonight just to like record something different, and then I'll go back to recording the LaMarcus Aldridge video.
But Ben asked, would that be tampering for Olshay if he had just asked us and we weren't employees of the team? I don't understand your question.
I don't see where he asked anything about Olshay. Maybe it's not popping up for me.
He says, Ben Hewitt, would that be tampering for Olshay? We were talking about like if we were his assistant GM and he was like, hey, these are the guys I would love to target in a trade. If you're talking about that, you just can't go public with it. That's why we say it's tampering in Discord, because you're outwardly showing your plans and giving your targets out. Yep. But Olshay is allowed to want to trade for a player. Like that's not tampering.
Like anything internal isn't tampering. That I can't think of anything like internal, you know, talked about within the front office that's tampering unless it gets out.
Maybe he's talking about streaming. Yeah, that's obviously that was a joke.
I wouldn't talk about my plans. I just talk about like random stuff, and then I'd mute it when I got on the phone with the GM. No, yeah, it probably would be. It'd just be fun for fans to see like the inside of that world. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I love there's the Stauskas draft with the Kings, and they had like fan things with different analytics, and they brought some fans in to kind of group study, whatever that's called. And they gave their recommendation, and then when the owner like overrode it and took Stauskas.
Who was the recommendation from the fans?
I want to say it was Alfred Payton or something like that.
Still would have been better than Stauskas.
Yeah, that was a weird draft. That, like, looking back, it's hard to tell who they should have taken. Maybe Saric, but
yeah. You remember when?
You
remember when we got Stauskas and Hezonja, and fans were trying to tell us that they'd be good? I told you Hezonja was the deja vu of Stauskas, and I wish I was wrong, but I really wasn't.
Oh. Well, Stauskas was good for like one game, and then he was like, "Man, this is the greatest offense ever. Where has this been all my life? Like, I'm so glad I signed in Portland." And then a few months later, he was traded.
He just wasn't like good. Like, I don't know. The fans were like trying to like twist their necks to like see some sort of angle where like Stauskas is a good player, and it's like he was just never good enough. Like, he had already been in the league 4 years. Like, I get it if like a guy doesn't get much of a chance over 2 years. And then you're going to give them a chance, like, yeah, those types of players can blow up, you know? Or, like, maybe they've shown, like, flashes of being good in their previous stops. Like, then, yeah, you know, maybe that player's intriguing. But it's like guys like Hezonja and Stauskas, they've just been consistently bad for years. Why would bringing them in here change anything? Like, people always overrate, like, oh, well, Hezonja played for Orlando and New York. He just played for bad franchises. Once he comes in here, you know, it'll completely change him. Like, yes, we have a better organization that might be able to make better use of what Hezonja can bring, but what he can bring to the table is what he can bring. Like, it's not going to change just because he changes teams. Like, if he sucks in New York because he's not talented enough to stick, that's not going to change if he comes in here. Yeah, he might suck in New York just because they don't know how to use him properly and that type of thing. Then in that situation, yeah, you bring him to Portland, maybe he'd be a lot better. But when I saw him in like New York, and when I saw him other places, it was just like, it wasn't that these teams couldn't fit his skill set in or use him properly. It was because he just wasn't good. Like, he just wasn't a good player. So that was what was frustrating, is having so many fans trying to tell me, oh, Hezonja's gonna be good. Hezonja's gonna be good. Hezonja's gonna be good. It might have been some of you, but it's just like, that was just deja vu with Nick Stauskas. Both those guys just suck.
I think the intrigue with those two players in particular are they're not necessarily point guards, but they can handle the ball and play make a little bit. So, like, you think if they ever figured out the rest of their game that they would, they could be good players. But like if Hezonja was ever like a 38 to 40% 3-point shooter, he has some like useful skills. He's not a terrible defender and all that stuff. But then you look at a guy like Stauskas, who like should only be in the league if he's a lights out shooter and he's like a career like mid-30% shooter. You know, like, that's not good enough. If you're supposed to be a shooter, you have to be able to shoot the ball. But yeah, for both of them, if they ever did shoot around 40% from three, they would be useful players. But yeah, it's not looking likely. Although Hezonja mentioned something about the ball change being really good for him.
Of course.
It's kind of a joke, but like, there might be some players that are completely different with a different ball. Like, you know how if you don't have a ball that feels right, like, you know how that messes with your mentality and stuff.
But at some point, you gotta get used to it. You're in the NBA so long, like.
Right, yeah. No,
I wonder if that's going to mess up any players.
That's going to excuse. Like, Steph Curry goes from like, the best 3-point shooter of all time to like 33% or something.
Hopefully not Dame. But honestly, yeah. Dame doesn't even really feel the grip on the ball when he shoots. Because Bro, I don't know if you guys noticed. Where's my basketball? I've showed this before, but a lot of you guys probably weren't in here for this. After this, go look up some slow-mo shots of Dame shooting if you haven't seen this before. But this guy, man. This guy brings the ball up. Let me plug in my other. I'll do it this way. He brings the ball up, right? Once he gets around here, he actually, like, flexes his fingers off the ball. And he has, like, big hands for his height, so it's not, like, the same when I do it. But he, like, flexes his fingers back off the ball, then shoots through. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Look up slow-mo Dame shooting form. But he actually, like, at his set point, his palms on the ball and his fingers are off the ball, basically. So it's literally just resting on his palm. Then he like flicks his fingers through. So for somebody like that, I don't think it will affect him at all. Because like at his set point, he's not even really feeling up like the leather or the ball with his fingertips. It's just resting on his palm, and then he like flicks his hand through. So not worried about that affecting Dame.
I do kind of agree with Hezonja that the Spalding balls always seem a little slick to me.
Yeah,
and that could change for when you get a ball that you grip different.
Bro, if they start shooting even better from the 3-point line, they need to just move the 3-point line back at that point, because it's already like really 3-point heavy. If it got even better, yikes! And watch like Nurkic love the new ball and just be sniping all of a sudden. That'd be crazy. But so Tommy or Thomas Saransky said, not trying to beef, but Torrey made a video like 2 years ago saying Hezonja could be a signing Portland should make, was on True Blazer Fan. The thing is, Hezonja's third year was his best year. So after his third year, it looked like, okay, he was drafted in the lottery. He improved a good deal from year 2 to year 3. Maybe he can keep up that improvement. But when a guy improves from year 2 to year 3 and then regresses in year 4, like at that point that says to me like, okay, this guy, that improvement was false. He is who he's shown, you know what I mean? Like, because that year 2 to year 3 improvement wasn't the start of an improvement trend throughout his career if he immediately regressed the season after. So like, it was an intriguing option after year 3, but then after what I saw in New York with him regressing back to how bad he was in year 2, and maybe it was a little better, but still.
But those 3 games, man.
Yeah, you know, God, man, against G League level teams, he's going to be able to be a point forward. Yeah, right. He literally had a career low assist per game total this year. Didn't even get an assist per game, playing 16 minutes. Yeah, he's going to be able to be a facilitator. Okay. But,
well, in his defense, our offense isn't really created for assists.
True. Very true. But yeah, so yeah, I did think he was intriguing 2 years ago, but then after that 4th year, that like made me make up my mind that he just sucks. You know what I mean? Like that video was 2 years ago. So yeah.
See, yeah, I don't mind necessarily. I mean, it sucks that he has a player option, but I mean, it was a minimum contract, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me. If you want to take a risk on that, it's kind of a low risk, low reward type thing, but whatever. But yeah, I would like if we signed him to the mid-level exception the year he signed with the Knicks and then he was this bad, then I'd be mad because we'd be stuck with him for several years and he'd be making all that money. We wouldn't have got, because we tried to give him the full tax mid-level exception, which means we wouldn't have had Seth Curry that year if he signed with us. Mm-hmm. And then we would have had to sign Gary Trent to he'd be a free agent this summer, an unrestricted free agent, but we could only offer him like early bird rights. So might have been completely different if Hezonja signed with us to begin with, like he said he wished he did. But yeah,
I'm
kind of dodged a bullet there. Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, no. So that video 2 years ago doesn't discount anything I'm saying right now. Like I thought maybe year 3 was a sign of improvement, and year 4 made it obvious that it wasn't. So that's the thing, man. Like this offseason,
again, though, Tari.
This offseason, we're probably gonna sign another guy like that, and going into next season, fans are gonna try and tell me he's good, and I'm gonna say, oh, you remember Stauskas? You remember Hezonja? Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a perfect example for that, but I don't know. Like top 10 pick that's been a bust.
Tommy said a good one. Bender.
Oh, dude. That would be such a... Oh, dude. That's the perfect example. We're going to go out and get Dragan Bender, and fans are going to try and tell me he's good and he's going to be a good player, and look how high he was drafted. He's 6'10"
and can shoot threes.
He's only played for bad organizations. He played for the Phoenix Suns. They suck. And then, he was in Golden State, but they sucked then too, and he didn't get to play. And then he was in Milwaukee for a little bit, but he didn't get to play. So he just needs a chance for a good organization because he's talented, or else he wouldn't have gotten drafted 4th overall. So he's going to be good for us. That would be the argument. Like... Does that not sound pretty on par there. Like,
yeah.
And I'm just gonna be like, no, have you guys seen this guy play? He's trash. He needs to go back to Europe. Like, the only reason he got drafted that high was because Porzingis. Because they were like, oh, look, because I think Porzingis drafted the year before and he looked good. And people were like, oh, this guy could be the next Porzingis. He kind of reminds me of Porzingis. Let's draft him number 4, even though he was basically just like a G League version. Not even that, you know. Like, yeah, he could shoot a little bit, but, like, he's not Porzingis, you know, just because he's a big Euro that can shoot. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, Porzingis is closer to frickin' Dirk than he is to Bender. That's how bad Bender is. Like, no. Need a trade for Mikal Bridges. I love Mikal Bridges, man. Always been on board the Mikal Bridges train. The 14th pick for Mikal Bridges, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But, hey, by the way, before we wrap this up, I was watching a lot of Tyrese Maxey. He might be he's a borderline top 5 prospect for me. I don't know how you feel about him, but I get good vibes.
I have the opposite with him.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really like him that much.
Like,
I feel like he's got a little bit of CJ, where like he's kind of stuck in a point guard body, but not. He doesn't have point guard skills, where CJ does have point guard skills, but like, I don't think he can be a combo guard, but his size makes him where he has to be a combo guard, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying, but I think you could develop good enough point guard skills for him to be like a terrific sixth man. And honestly, like, the way he defends, I think he could defend most twos, even though he's given up a size differential, because he defends hard. He defends with a lot of heart. If he was like 6'5", he would be like definitely top 5 pick, I think. Like, because you look at him, he's a good defender. Like, he's a tenacious good defender, right? He struggled from the 3-point line, but just looking at his form, it seems like he should be able to be a decent 3-point shooter. Like, I like his form. Like, I think it might have been a little bit of an aberration in college. Like, I think he can be a decent shooter along with a good defender. And then also, I really like his finishing around the rim. Like, I think he has enough burst to be able to turn the corner and get to the rim. And then he finishes really well around the rim. Looks like he has a decent mid-range pull-up. So, I mean, all that combined, I like that skill set. I like that package. He just has to develop, like, if he could develop his playmaking and his point guard skills, I think he could potentially have, like, fringe all-star potential.
See, like, this might sound kind of hypocritical, but, like, Edwards shot almost 50% from the field. And, yeah, he only shot the same percentage from 3. But, like, I feel like his game will translate more to the NBA versus someone who only shot, like, you know, low 40s overall and then 29.2%.
Well, that's why Edwards is number 1 on my big board.
Yeah.
That's why he's up there.
I'm just saying, like, the shooting is a problem, like, because you bash Okoro for his shot.
Yeah, but you also got to just, like, look at their shot. Like, look at the way they shoot. What worries me about Okoro is how stiff his shoulders are. Like, that's not something... That's just going to make it even worse the deeper you get. Like, it's hard to shoot NBA threes if you have stiff shoulders. You know, it's hard to extend your range if you have stiff shoulders. And honestly, like, I don't think having stiff shoulders on your shot is an easy thing to fix. Like, it's not like, oh, your elbow's out too much, bring it in. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's his build or, like, what the cause is for that, but I feel like it's hard to fix stiff shoulders. And it's, like, the main reason why his shot is so bad. And it's just going to be worse outside the 3-point arc, and it's not going to be easy to fix. Where, like, Maxey, I think he has good form. I think a lot of it is just, like, he's not completely square all the time. Like, a lot of it is, like, his base, and a lot of it is, like, I don't know. Like, I think, like, whatever his issues are, I think they're fixable, because I already think he has, like, a good, decent form, a smooth release. Like, seems like a pretty consistent release too. So I have a lot more confidence in his shooting than a guy like Okaro's.
I wouldn't say like he's not in my top 20 or anything like that. Like I think he's a legit mid first round pick. Nothing about his game said I should move him up to like the top 5 or ahead of like guys like Hayes or Halliburton or anything like that. So yeah, I would take either of those guys over him.
The thing is, Halliburton has a higher floor, but I think Maxey has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, that might be true.
It's just like in a normal draft, Maxey's not up there. It's just like if you're gonna draft like 5, 6, 7, I think you want a guy that has the chance at becoming really, really good. And I like Maxey's upside. I get the concerns with him, like he doesn't have a high floor, but I think he has a decently high upside.
See, in the NBA though, like I like guys who can score, and to me, watching Halliburton, like you can tell like his game, he'll be able to score and get his own shot and create a little bit in the NBA. Whereas I'm not 100% sold on that with Maxey. Like, yes, he could potentially be better than him.
Maxey has a decent handle.
I have a hard time like deciding whether or not he.
I mean, Maxey like has a decent handle. He has a sharp handle. His like the way he dribbles actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Dame. Just because he's like really tight to his body, nothing like fancy, nothing like CJS, like hanging the ball out, none of that. It's like very like methodical and like sharp, tight handle. He has decent amount of burst and he finishes well around the rim, and his mid-range pull-ups look good. And his 3-point shot, I think, is something that he can get to be decent, just like looking at his form. So I look at all that. I think he can be like a 3-level scorer. Because he already has the finishing package around the rim. Like, he's able to finish with contact. He's able to make crafty, different finishes, stuff like that, just from what I've seen. Like, I've been impressed with some of the finishes that he pulled off last year. His mid-range pull-ups look good, and his 3-point shot looks good. And you combine that with being able to defend and a decent amount of burst, and the fact that he has a tight handle and doesn't try and, like, do too much, like, fancy iso ball CJS crap. Like, I don't know, I just like that base, to work off of. So that's why I kind of like him. He's going to be an intriguing prospect. I think he needs to go to the right situation. It's hard to find 3 and D guards that can also attack the rim and finish well. And I think he already has 2 of those. He can already attack the rim and finish well, and he already has the defense. The question mark is just the 3-point shot. So, if he's able to develop into a decent shooter, I think he'll definitely be like a good NBA player. So that's just kind of where I sit on with him, especially with like all the question marks around there and like low upside guys. Like,
maybe my opinion is slightly from the Blazers' point of view. Like, I don't think we need another one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because I still have faith in Simons, but yeah, we'll see.
We don't need him. Like, he would make a ton of sense for a team like Phoenix, I think. Obviously needs to be able to shoot to playoff Booker, but he can defend, and like he's not like doesn't have the best point guard skills, but Booker can handle that. Booker, like Maxey and Booker, I think kind of offset each other's weaknesses. So Maxey, I think, would make a lot of sense in Phoenix. I'm not going to go super deep into some of the fits, but I do like Maxey, and I have grown on Okongwu. Okongwu's like 4th. I've just been messing around with the big board. I am intrigued by Jalen Smith. I do think Jalen Smith is intriguing. I didn't realize he shot the ball. That's interesting because you didn't like him. Well, I didn't think he was a 3-point shooter, honestly. Just because I remember he struggled year 1 at Maryland. And I just hadn't been paying enough attention to him, to be honest. Like, I didn't like him year 1 in Maryland just because a guy like that's going to have to be able to shoot. But he shot the ball well last year for Maryland, so if he's able to shoot the 3 and then be a bit of a rim protector, and I don't know. Like, he's not strong enough, but he looks like he has the body that could put on a lot of weight and, be, a lot stronger. I don't know. He's intriguing just as like a 3-and-D type of, I don't know if I think he's more of a center, and maybe he's a little undersized. I don't know. He's just an intriguing guy that I need to look do a little bit more research on. I don't know. But I've been going hard making this big board. It's been fun to have a big board. Yeah. I'll try and be like educated by the time draft rolls around, whenever that happens, and have it all set up. It'd be fun to like compare. You should get one going, man. I want to see what you got.
Okay.
In terms of like rankings. But yeah, just post that in Discord, whatever. Tag me, because I definitely want to see what your rankings are.
Okay.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna log off with this stream. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on Discord tonight if you guys want to chat about whatever. And we'll hopefully get out either a mailbag. I'll probably try and get out a mailbag tonight in the Aldridge video tomorrow. And get caught up on that. Make sure my mic is working. Make sure it doesn't get switched over to my webcam mic again, because I can't put out a video with my webcam mic because it's horrible. I'm not going to do that to you guys. So I'll keep you guys updated with that, though. So anyway, hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.